Edward Snowden comes out and says, I'm the leaker, and he reveals this NSA program where they're spying in on all Americans when it comes to their phone company records, and spying in on a tremendous number of Americans when it comes to their internet usage and their specific content. So how are the pundits, the government officials, et cetera, going to react to this? With great fury. So first we start with Col Ralph Peters. Makes me sick to call this guy Colonel every time. He is a so-called Fox News analyst, and he's got some interesting ideas on what should happen to Snowden.
Show me one American, one law-abiding American citizen who has been hurt by any of these NSA programs.
None.
None, exactly. They're keeping us safe. You know, if the intel community backs off and doesn't do this stuff and there's a terrorist attack, then it's intelligence failure. If they do this stuff, well, it's Big Brother snooping. And now you've got this 29-year-old high school dropout whistleblower making foreign policy for our country, our security policy. And the guy, look, I think it's sad, Brian, we've made treason cool. Betraying your country is kind of a fashion statement. He wants to be the national security Kim Kardashian. He cites Bradley Manning as a hero. I mean, we need to get very, very serious about treason. And oh, by the way, for treason, as in the case of Bradley Manning or Edward Snowden, you bring back the death penalty.
He could be defecting to Iceland or China. Best of luck.
Good luck to him.
Oh, yeah, of course. If you dare say what the government is doing in a democracy and you let the American people in on what their government is doing in their name, treason, execution. You've already got Fox News calling for his execution. And has anybody been harmed by the spying? Immediately, oh, no. What's your information on that? How do you know no one's been harmed by the spying? Oh, it's Fox News. You don't need, it's a fact-free zone. Oh, no, of course nobody's been harmed. But let's execute the guy. Execute him. Treason and Bradley Manning, execute him while you're at it, too. Never, ever doubt your government. Shut up and bow your head to your government. I guess the authoritarians at Fox News love that. Even ironically, when it's the Obama government. This is the one thing that Fox News and their so-called analysts are willing to bow their head to Obama on? Fascinating. That's how much they love authoritarian government. Now we go to Robert Baer. He's a former CIA case officer. It's not just his opinion. Listen to what he says about his buddies in Washington.
I think almost inevitably they'll charge him. He revealed SIGINT, signals intelligence, top secret. The government's obligated to go after him, bring charges against him. I just don't see any way out of it. You know, he whether you agree with him or not, he's violated the law. They cannot let this pass.
No, we cannot let this pass. We must target him. Well, tell me more, Bob.
Well, here's the problem, is that Hong Kong is controlled by Chinese intelligence. It's not an independent part of China at all. You know, I've talked to a bunch of people in Washington today in official positions, and they're looking at this as a potential Chinese espionage case. And I'm not saying this because I disagree or agree with it. You know, PRISM is necessarily a good thing, or this whole program. It's simply that it was unwise of him to go to Hong Kong to do this. On the face of it, it looks like it's under some sort of Chinese control, especially with the president meeting the premier today. You have to ask what's going on. I mean, China is not a friendly country, and every aspect of that country is controlled. So why Hong Kong? Why didn't he go to Sweden? Or if he really wanted to make a statement, he should have done it on Capitol Hill.
Oh, I love CNN. They're just the official state arm, media arm of the government. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democratic government. Here they have their expert on, and he's like, I talked to Washington government officials, and it turns out they hate people who give information about Washington government officials. Wow, you don't say. Now, is he questioned on that? Is he criticized on that? No, it's just put out on Fox News as, well, oh man, people in Washington saying he might be doing Chinese espionage. And of course, here comes the character assassination. He's not an American hero. He's not a whistleblower. Forget whether you think he's an hero or not. He's not a whistleblower giving interesting information as Daniel Ellsberg did with the Pentagon Papers back when we had actually a free press and not state-run outlets like CNN say, oh yes, our government officials very angry. And they'd like to assassinate his character right here on CNN, so they're calling him a Chinese spy. What, really? Did he give the Chinese any information? If he did, where's your data on that? Where's your facts on that? Did he give any of our agents' names in China, which would have been incredibly valuable to the Chinese? No, you don't have anything like that. All you have is a guy who comes out and says, oh, the government officials are very upset with him, and couches it as if like he's a neutral arbiter. Oh, I don't know. Might be a Chinese spy. Why didn't he go to Sweden? Well, maybe the same reason Julian Assange isn't going to Sweden, because Sweden would turn Assange over to the U.S. government as they've done before in other cases. They extradite all the time. So why would he go to Sweden, the one place where he's actually very likely to be extradited? Why didn't he just give himself into us? Why didn't he go to Capitol Hill so we can arrest him and give him a life sentence like we're trying to give them Bradley Manning? Why didn't he do that? He must be guilty. He must be a Chinese spy. Well, Bob Baer, great analyst on CNN, tell me more.
We'll never get him from China. There's not a chance. I mean, he'll disappear there. He won't be able to go anywhere else. But if in fact the Chinese had a hand in this, and I just can't believe it, a TV interview was done there in Hong Kong without some sort of knowledge of the Chinese, they're not about to send him to the United States. And the CIA is not going to render him, as he said in the tape, is not going to try to grab him there. It's just not going to happen. You know, it almost seems to me that this was a pointed affront to the United States. On the day the president is meeting the Chinese leader, telling us, listen, quit complaining about espionage and getting on the internet and, you know, our hacking. You are doing the same thing. I can see the Chinese doing that.
Yeah, wrong again, Bob. Story out today from the New York Times, quote, he is very likely to be extradited. So what happened? Oh, the Chinese will never turn him over. Probably Chinese spy. How many times in that short little clip did he intimate that he was a Chinese spy? With absolutely no facts to back it up. Ridiculous, man. The establishment, of course, hates it. When you go against the establishment, they send people like Bob Baer out on CNN to go, oh yeah, bad guy. Oh, you should fear him. He's very dangerous. Oh yeah, you should always trust your government. And never the people who tell you the actual information, which none of which you deny, by the way, real facts about your government. But Bob Baer's not the only one. I'm very disappointed in Jeffrey Toobin, that paints himself as a legal expert, but you know what? He's on CNN too, so I don't know why I'm surprised. He wrote a whole piece in the New Yorker about how Snowden is a dangerous guy. He's not a hero, he's a villain. He says, quote, what wonders did Snowden think the NSA did? Perhaps he thought the NSA operated only outside the United States. In that case, he hadn't been paying very close attention. Now, why does he say that? Oh, come on, Snowden. We all knew the NSA was spying on us. Well, this is nothing new. Same thing they said about Bradley Manning as they were trying to give him a life sentence. Same thing they said about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, while at the same time saying he's the most dangerous guy there is. Right? They say, oh, no new information on WikiLeaks. Look away, look away, look away. Don't look at what the government's doing. Jeffrey Toobin's got to cover their ass. Right? So, oh, you didn't know the NSA was spying in on all Americans? Come on. Well, then, Jeff, if you knew it, why didn't you report it on CNN? Because that's not what you do. You kiss the government's ass on CNN. That's what you do. And then how did he characterize Manning and Snowden? He said that they were doing, quote, wholesale, reckless dumping of classified information by the likes of Snowden or Bradley Manning. Wholesale, reckless dumping. Now, in the old days when we had the Pentagon Papers, that was, oh, thank God somebody told us what our government was actually up to. Now when somebody tells us what the government's actually up to, oh, wholesale and reckless, how dare you tell the American people what the government's up to, besides which we already knew it. Go away. I hate you, you're a villain, plus you're irrelevant. Well, which one is it, Jeff? Okay, now that's not enough. They got to bring on Mukasey on national television. He's the former Attorney General for Bush who authorized some of these programs. Shockingly enough, it turns out he's in favor of the NSA programs and also thinks Snowden is very dangerous.
Attorney General, would you go after him?
You know, New York minute.
Why?
Because he has broken the law. He's broken faith with his countrymen. He's broken faith with our political system.
But he did it in respect for liberty and freedom, he says.
Yep. So did the Rosenbergs turned over secrets to the Russians because they thought it served the interests of liberty and freedom in the grand scheme of things. There are very few people who have betrayed their country who have done so not claiming intelligent and highly moral motives.
In a New York minute, I'd crush him. Really, the guy who authorized the program would crush the guy who revealed the program. Wow, thank you for breaking news, Fox. One more from Mukasey.
To the scope of the new NSA program, did it change the way you feel about the need for it?
No. The scope is one thing, meaning how broad something is, and I'm not going to comment and endorse the accuracy of what you just said about what the scope is, but even assuming that it is what you just said it is, no, it doesn't alarm me at all. If the government is filtering a bazillion blips of information and has technology available that'll pick out the 2 or 3 that are relevant, the fact that my blip happens to be one of the bazillion that they're filtering doesn't bother me at all.
No, it shouldn't bother any of you. Just accept it. I could be monitored, and I'm the one doing the monitoring, so that would be unusual. Under the Bush era, that's the Attorney General. Or it could be you. It's more likely to be you, but don't be bothered by it. If you're not guilty, then you got nothing to worry about. Isn't that what every totalitarian government says? And then finally, this is my favorite, because you got Mike Rogers, who's a Republican in the House, and then you got Feinstein, who's a Democrat in the Senate. We've got bipartisan agreement that the government rocks, and anyone who tells you what the government's actually up to is terrible.
I absolutely believe that someone did not have authorization to release this information. And why that's so important, George, is because they didn't have all of the information. I know your reporter that you interviewed, Greenwald, says that he's got it all and now is an expert on the program. He doesn't have a clue how this thing works. Neither did the person who released just enough information to literally be dangerous. I argue that there's other methods. He could come to the committees if they had concern. We have IGs that they can go to in a classified way if they have concern. Taking a very sensitive classified program that targets foreign persons on foreign lands and putting just enough out there to be dangerous is dangerous to us, it's dangerous to our national security, and it violates the oath of which that person took. I absolutely think they should be prosecuted.
You too, Senator Feinstein?
I do.
I do. Dangerous, 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 dangerous. So dangerous what this guy did, letting us know what our government's up to. Wait, Mike Rogers, you are the government. So if he got it all wrong, why don't you tell us what's right? Oh, I'm sorry. No. You might have mistaken this for a democracy. No, we do everything in secret. And you have to trust us. Everything we do is terrific. You'd be shocked at how wonderful it is if you just knew the truth. Great, why don't you tell me the truth? Not going to do it. If anybody does tell you the truth, it is very dangerous.